let's take a look at the deliveries. Oh, it looks like a Pontiac. Awesome. Let's take a closer look at that one. Yes, my name is Nick from Nick's Toy Garage, and hopefully you enjoyed that little intro. Today we're restoring a Pontiac GP Sports Coupe that's produced from 1965 till 1970 and debuted in the Matchbox 1 till 75 series. So as you can see, it's spinning on my little turning display. Let's take a close look at it right here. As you can see, the paint is missing on the front, on the roof, and, well, about everywhere. If I can open the doors, it's not that hard, but, well, you know me. You can take a look at the absolutely filthy interior. Actually, it's horrible. 40 years of play didn't really, was a good plan for this car. The base, for some reason, the letters are, well, the other way around. Really strange, but the paint is well gone on the base. But the axles and wheels are in really good shape, and I really hate that I have to take off the wheels and axles to fix the base. First order of business, taking off the rivets. So I take my rusty, trusty, not so rusty, newish Bosch drill. Why do I always do that? And drill out the front and the rear rivets. After both rivets are removed, I take my screwdriver and pry open the base so it releases from the model. When the base is released, you can actually see how good the axles actually are. This model has never seen, well, I think, water, which explains the absolutely filthy interior. So, onto the interior, trying to pull it out, not being the smartest about it, because if you just lift up the front, look how easy. The front, it just snaps right off. And again, a closer look at this filthy interior. This really needs clean. Then the glass, well, just falls out. Normally it's been held in by a rivet, but not with this one. And the glass is actually in really good shape. Just a quick little polish and should be fine. Next, removing the doors, just take my screwdriver and remove that little spring thingy. Magic. Yeah, you can see it. I don't need to tell you. You have eyes. After the spring is removed, the doors literally just fall out. If I can actually remove that spring, it seems a lot harder than I'm making it to be. Doors fell out, and on to the next step, removing the paint from the model. So, using my usual amount of paint stripper, I leave this model for about half an hour to an hour. Usually this will, well, destroy all the paint. Also, don't forget the doors, because of reasons I don't know. So after about 1 hour, this is what I end up with. Looks pretty delicious, if I do say so myself. So I take my handy dandy toothbrush, and I start. Well, I didn't speed up the video. I sped myself up. Really bad joke. So taking off the paint with my toothbrush. After that, I take my mom's pajama pants and remove the remainder of the paint stripper and loose paint, and finish off with a piece of Scotch-Brite, sanding the car and removing any imperfections. After about an hour, this is what I end up with. So, taking my toothpick, my dentist pick, and removing all the remaining paint in the little, well, crevices of this model, which it has quite a few. Next, for primer, I'm using a fine surface primer by Tamiya, shaking up the can and applying in total 2 coats to the model, and obviously the doors, because don't forget the doors. I forgot the doors. So, this takes around 30 to 45 minutes to dry, and after that, applying the actual color. As you can see, I painted the doors afterwards off camera. Placed them in the model so it would be a little bit easier to paint, because I didn't want to ruin the paint by placing the doors after it's painted. And I just decided to use the regular red that it came with. So again, 3 coats, leaving 30 to 45 minutes to dry between coats. And at this point I kind of realized that it looks pretty good in two-tone, but because I didn't have white and I'm Nick, I just decided to do it all one color in red, and it looks really good. So, after the first coat dries, I move on to the second coat, where I actually decided to, paint the door jambs and missing, well, thingy-majigs. so I can have, well, paint everywhere, because otherwise it looks really bad. So after this coat I apply one more and let it bake in my, well, I call it an oven, it's just a little space heater pointed directly at the model. Always good for drying paint. So to do the base I have to take off these perfect axles. This actually really hurts to do this, but well, oh well. So I take my Dremel, remove the little metal edge from the axle and hold my finger on the other side so the axle can spin freely. After that you can just take off the wheels. Really easy. So paint stripping the base, because well I forgot that to do. I could have done that in the beginning, but well, I forgot. And while the model is drying, I just remove the paint from the base. As you can see, it has quite a bit of corrosion, just surface corrosion on the base. So I just took a piece of Scotch-Brite and sanded the living, you know what, out of it. After about 30 minutes, no, not 30, about 10 minutes of Scotch-Briting, I used 1 coat of primer and 2 coats of my beautiful black. After that, reassembly, well, after it dries obviously, otherwise my hands would be, well, black at this moment. I started to reassemble the base, just sliding through the axle, placing the wheels and crimping it between my vise. Now for my favorite part of every restoration, the fine details. Because I didn't really get to buy a really fine brush yet, like a lot of you guys suggested, I'm using a toothpick. It works. But I am going to search for a really fine detailing brush so I can actually, well, make the models just that little bit better. So after the headlights are done, I move on to the grille. Well, at this point actually my camera wasn't really focusing and I really want to show you how professional I am. So that's why I left it in. No other reasons, not because I wanted to make the 10-minute mark. Oh shit, don't say that! So after the headlights are done, I move on to the grille. Also don't ruin my beautiful red paint job by spilling. After that I move on to the door handles. One on the left and one on the right, obviously. And when both door handles are finished, I for some reason decided that the surround from the taillights, well, needed to be chrome. I think because, well, you cannot make red, because they're already red, I really want them to stand out. I could use a little different shade of red, but I just decided to add chrome. And I don't think it looks horrible, it looks like pretty cool, so it's officially a custom right now. So letting this dry about an hour and then applying 1 or 2 coats of clear coat to make the model shine. So next, the interior, the absolutely filthy interior, needs, well, it needs a bath. It didn't have one in 40 years. Is it 40? Sure. Math. It's late, I don't want to count at this point. So I take my container of water, I take a cotton bud, and I just start cleaning 40 something years of dirt. After the interior is clean and dried, I move on to reassembly. Oh, and I cut off the tow hook because it was already broken, and a sports coupe doesn't need a tow hook. That's like putting a tow hook on a sports coupe. It's mad. It's mad. So after I try to figure out how the window goes in, yes, Nick, that's the front. There, yes, that's right. So after the window goes in, I place the interior. I place the interior the proper way in for once. That's a change. And then I snap in the base. And then, my good fellow viewers, I did something that everybody was asking me to do since upload number 1. Wait for it. It's coming. Are you ready? It's coming, I promise. I screwed in the base. I did not use glue in this restoration. I actually screwed the base to the model and, well, it worked. So, a quick reminder of what the model looked like before the restoration, with dull missing paint, a broken off tow hook, scratches on the window, also a polished windshield, forgot to show that, and, well, you can see them all, and let's take a look at it. after. I think it looks 1.5 million times better. Please leave your, opinion in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed this restoration. And, well, why don't you subscribe while you're still here? It's time on. Bye!